Not my typical video. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. And I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. In today's video, we are going to talk about what is probably one of the number one reasons why people are not experiencing the things that they want, their manifestations, or even at minimum, seeing the changes or the movement in reality to back that manifestation up. And we're going to talk about that today. I am Zhuzh. You are in my upstairs bathroom. I am in my pajamas, and I am putting my makeup on. So, hold on. Okay. So, at least I should introduce myself as we're sitting here crooked. Friends, if you are new to my channel, my name is Kimberly, like the channel name, Kimberly. And I am someone who likes to get what she wants. I like to get what I want, as I'm sure you do. And I don't like to wait for things. I like to experience manifestations or the evidence that I'm about to get it very quickly, as I'm sure you all do as well. And I am very, very knowledgeable in the manifestation world. And if you are someone who is consciously choosing to apply the law of assumption, then I'm your girl. I'm just a more laid back manifestation coach. I'm more chill, and I don't feel like I need to impress you in order for you to listen to me. That's my style. So if you can resonate with that and you don't mind hanging out with me, then I would love for you to subscribe and come back and see me and let me know in the comments below that you have subscribed so I know who my new friend is. Okay? Okay. Now, enough of that. Friends, one of the most painful things I see in this community is when I see people suffering with fear and doubt regarding their manifestation. You see, because I am very much aware that it doesn't feel good to doubt and to be in fear. It doesn't feel good. And we all want I would like my mirror to work and to stop darkening. We all want to feel safe and secure that we're going to get what we want. I know we want that reassurance. In my early days, I really wanted that. Oh, who am I kidding? Even now, I want the reassurance. I want to feel better. But what I tend to do when I'm doubting is I try to remember who I am and what I am. Number one, which is consciousness. I am consciousness. You are consciousness. And you get to put the label on whatever you believe that is. So from my perspective, it's God. It's God. And every single one of us is a piece of that God. But understanding that it can't be broken, right? God can't be put into chunks. So I think of stretchy gel. What's the stuff? Putty. Like playing with putty. Is it putty? Or like a gel substance that can be stretched, but it doesn't break. That's kind of what each and every one of us is. And we're all connected to that stretchy gel-like stuff. And this is why manifestation works, or even can work. It's because we are all connected to that consciousness, but we're all experiencing reality from each one of our individual unique perspectives. So in other words, you're in your own reality and I am in mine. And we might be interacting, but the version of you that interacts with me is based off of what state of consciousness I'm embodying. And it goes, vice versa from your perspective, okay? So knowing that, understanding that, and reminding myself that that is who I am always brings me some reassurance. Now, does that mean that I immediately feel better? No, I don't. Not always. But the feeling of not feeling better will eventually fade away. Just saying. Okay? Our body is obviously including the mind, but our body is a well put together computer system that knows how to take care of itself. But it also leans on us, on our mind, to function, good or bad, right? And that all lies within the decision of who we are, or who we believe we are. And today I was thinking about the statement that Neville Goddard and many of the other greats out there who have ever talked about manifesting or doing things with our mind, or even mindsets. They say that little, which sounds like a riddle. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. Now, that might not be a direct quote from Neville, but it's something along those lines. And for some, that is an upsetting thing to hear, because it can make one feel like, well, great, so that must mean the desire I want is never going to come, which I would like to squash that fear for you right now, because that is not true, okay? But this is the reason why on my channel, I talk about your state of consciousness, what you believe about yourself, what your beliefs are, but not from the perspective of going on a relentless journey of trying to figure out what might be wrong with you, because it's not helpful to think from that place. It's not helpful to believe there's something wrong. It's just not. And it doesn't feel good. And that is a state within itself. It's a version of you who believes that there is something more wrong. But that's not what this video is about. I have talked about, being loyal, being committed to your desire, and what that entails. And it entails you are willfully showing up every day. So like from the moment you wake up in the morning, you are willfully choosing to do your best. You don't have to be perfect, but to do your best based on your own individual understanding, to show up as the you already want to be. And so many people get so lost in the logic of what that implies. So if you're manifesting to be a multimillionaire and your bank account is nowhere near that, we can get lost in that thinking. Like, how am I supposed to show up as a multimillionaire when I'm clearly not that right now? I agree with you. But you taking the time to think about consciously, how do I think I would feel and function in my day-to-day life if that's who I was, if I was a multimillionaire? Now, I'm not talking about maybe you'd be in a different home. Maybe you'd be driving a different car. Fine. But you can still, through the body, feel like that confident knowing that you are the you that will have the experience of your bank account, say, in multi-millions. Now, what the video is about is, so why do so many people feel like they can't do that until something changes, or something, looks like it's a possibility in reality that might happen? And I feel it's because every single one of us is conditioned to logically be able to figure out what our next steps are. In other words, we try to kind of gauge how our manifestation is going to come to us. And because so many of us can't seem to figure out how the manifestation should come, we don't fully commit ourselves to being that new version of yourself because it doesn't feel safe. And if any of you, if in the past, have been hurt, by disappointment, meaning you allowed yourself to get excited that something was going to work out for you and then it didn't, that can feel unsafe. It doesn't feel good. So you would rather just think about where you are now and prepare for the worst so that you don't get hurt again. And that, I'm not just talking about that in money manifestations. We do it, I see it a lot in, manifesting a specific person or just manifesting new love in general. It feels like you're walking in, on glass. You're walking on shells. You're walking on a landmine. Because it doesn't feel good. Because you have so many past experiences that might validate your old self. And that is why I'm making this video. Scientists have done studies. I've talked about this before, but scientists have done studies on, and I believe the one I'm thinking of is they were watching the brain activity of piano players. So they had the pianos, they had the the test people sit at the pianos and play the piano. And they tracked the brain activity. And then they have them, they get rid of the pianos, and then they ask those people, all right, now just imagine you're playing, right? The piano's not there. They're playing the piano visually in their imagination. And guess what happened? The brain lit up and showed the identical response that happened when they were actually touching the physical pianos. I know this test was also done on athletes, right? What was their brain activity while running? And what was the brain activity as they were just imaginally running? Same exact response. So when you allow yourself to think about who you would be if you had whatever it is you're manifesting and how you would live your day-to-day life as the person with the desire, your mind is going to respond just like the version of you who already exists living that life. And that's why we take the time to think about, well, what version of that of me is, or who it is. How would it feel like? So, for example, going back to the millionaire, if you were a multimillionaire, do you think you would be afraid of not being able to pay a bill? Probably not. Do you think you would worry about bouncing a check? Probably not. Would you walk around differently? Would you be the same you? Or would that version of you have a little more confidence? Maybe that version of you feels a little more free. So every time you allow yourself to imagine that, you not only are bringing yourself into that reality through the quantum, right? That's quantum jumping. Every time you allow yourself to imagine who you would be if you had the desire, that is you quantum jumping. That is you visiting that reality. That is you stepping in to the version of you who is living with the desire every time. And your brain does its little business on the rewiring from the old version of you to the new. If you are more of a sciencey person, that's what's happening every time. Every time you allow yourself to do it, you are there. And guess what happens if this is something that you are doing regularly? That reality around you might look 100% the same. but it's nowhere near the same. You might not understand why a circumstance might be in your reality right now in this moment. But whatever that is, whatever that circumstance is, it has to lead you to your ending. It has to. And you've been doing this your whole life. Every time that you think about your desire and you think about how doubtful it is that it will ever happen, what are you doing? You're choosing to imagine you or the reality of the you that doesn't have the desire and likely never will. But you're still manifesting. That's you choosing to imagine the reality you don't want. And sometimes I think that people think like there's a switch in our brain that, okay, if I'm consciously manifesting, here are the tools, the techniques that I need to use to think about that reality or that version of myself who's experiencing the desire. But when we're not doing those things, there's a switch in the brain that says, okay, back to normal life, back to normal reality. So that we're free to think about this current 3D reality like it's as if it's just going to go back to normal. But no, you're consciously manifesting. So, for example, I used to think, especially when I was manifesting my specific person, I used to think, this is my early days, I used to think that, all right, I have my little tools and techniques that I like to do. Back then it was scripting. So I'm going to take my scripting time. And then there's that switch in my brain. When I'm scripting, I'm manifesting. And when I close that scripting journal and I put it away, I'm going to go back to my real life, right? My regular life. The life where I'm not manifesting what I want. Because I got to do things in reality, right? I got to go to work. I got to take care of my kid, blah, blah, blah. But you see, there is no switch. There is no switch. When I was scripting, I was quantum jumping to the reality where I had my specific person. When I put my scripting journal away and I allowed myself to go back to thinking, I'm back to life, I'm back to reality, I'm back to regular Kim. That time doesn't count. And nothing's happening when I go back, right? Nothing's happening when I close my scripting journal. Nothing's happening anymore. And that's not what's happening. Instead, you're just manifesting from your senses. You're manifesting from the existing reality. You're manifesting from memory. So, in other words, there is no switch in the brain. You're either making the conscious decision to be who you want to be, or you're making the conscious decision to stay as you are. And then life kind of just keeps repeating patterns and cycles. So if you know you really, really want something, you really, really want to have the experience of having that thing, commit to that version of yourself and show up as that person. Try to think about what it would feel like if you weren't worried about manifesting whatever it is you're manifesting. When we manifest a specific person, that and the money, those two right there are the most popular topics. It's so easy to think that thought, well, if I go all in and this doesn't work, I'm going to be even more disappointed than I was to begin with. No, you're not. That is fear talking. If you go all in and you commit to being a new version of yourself, your life is going to change. Even if you can't see the physical changes right now, your life is going to change. You are not staying in that old reality, no matter what is in front of you in the physical. You're not going to fail at this. So if fear is holding you back from truly committing that you are in a new reality, why? Why is it so easy to listen to the fear versus listening to the dream, the wish, that magical new reality that you know damn well you want to be in? You can commit to this. And I'm telling you, you're going to get your desire. But no one can make you commit. No one can make you do this. And if you're manifesting a specific person and you are done manifesting a text messages or a call, if you're done with that, I feel meaningless garbage, if you're done with that and you want to experience real love, an amazing, loving, fulfilling, committing version of your specific person, then commit yourself to this. I get asked, well, Kim, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to commit to someone that I'm not technically with right now in this moment? I hear you. But can't you think about what it would feel like to be a woman or man who's in a committed relationship? Can you think about that long enough to actually feel it in the body? I have mentioned that when I was manifesting my relationship, I really thought about, in the body, physically, how would it feel to be chosen? What does that even mean to me, to be chosen? And I'm trying to not make silly faces as I'm doing my makeup here. For me, it was a very calm, relaxed, confident feeling, right? So it wasn't the super butterflies. Not to say that I've never experienced that, but it wasn't butterflies. It was, holy shit, I'm safe. I'm safe. Almost, initially, it was almost like a relief feeling. I can be chill. I can allow myself to think about other things because I don't have to worry about whether this person wants to be with me or not. I'm free. Because think about it. When you're not worried about something, you go off and think about other things in your life. You go off and handle other things. But when you're manifesting from need and desperation, you don't do that. That manifestation becomes something so stuck on the brain 24/7 that it's like you ignore everything else in your life. Or at least that's what I did. Maybe not 100% because I still had to raise my son, but you get what I'm saying. That manifestation just totally consumed me. And it's why I wasn't manifesting the fullness that I wanted in love. So when I really thought about who would I be if I knew comfortably, confidently that this man was fully committed to me and loved me the way I loved him, would I be thinking about this all the time? Hell no. I would feel comfortable. I would feel safe to actually even go back to my hobbies. Like I became so so consumed with manifesting my specific person that I put my fun things aside. I stopped caring about, now get it, I'm a girly girl. So like my handbags, purses, nail polish, perfume, all of that kind of took a back seat because I couldn't even enjoy those things anymore because I was so, I have to get this. I have to get this manifestation. I'm not loved yet. I'm not chosen yet. I'm none of those things. I've got to conquer this manifestation. I was never being the version of myself that comfortably had it. Let me just say that. So ask yourself, what does being chosen actually feel like for you? What does full commitment feel like for you? And only you know the answer to that. What would it feel if you could just relax and confidently know you can have whatever it is you desire? What would it feel like if it was here? What would it feel like in your body? And again, please understand, I'm not asking you to chase that feeling every single day. It's not what I mean. But when you finally understand what the thing is, what it would feel like to have it, what that feels like for you, you now know a reference point. So you can recognize when you're feeling the complete opposite of it, and you can check in with yourself. Who am I really being right now? Am I still afraid? So, I know this video was all over the place, but it was on my mind. I needed to get it out, hence my odd video background. And, I got to finish my makeup. I got a call, truthfully. I got to get going. Thank you very much for watching. If you are new to this channel, no, don't worry. Not all my content is going to be like this. I have, I believe, over 1,300 videos, so you can check that out and see. I don't always show up doing my makeup. Okay? All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.